What's so important for us is that TikTok, for sure, I think it starts off and everyone's like, it's for the younger generation, it's only for Gen Z. But as we sit here now, 2 years on, TikTok is broadcast entertainment.
Connecting.
There are 86,400 seconds in a day. And I, for one, a man of 50 years old and moving into a difficult period of my life, aim to not waste a single one of those seconds. Now, I think that sentiment exists across the human race. I don't think we want to waste any time. In fact, the devices in our pocket, they allow us to access tools, education, inspiration, and entertainment that make the most of those precious seconds that we have available to us. We believe at TikTok that entertainment is changing. We believe this is a paradigm shift that's happening right now in the industry, in the way that we entertain ourselves on our mobile devices in those precious seconds. Entertainment has changed. Entertainment is not just about going to the theater, laughing out loud at your comedy store, going to catch a movie, or even watching a TV series at the end of a long day. We believe that entertainment is woven through our daily lives. Entertainment is about discovery and inspiration. It's about education. It's about escapism. And it's also about delivering really strong impact. And that, we believe, gives brands and marketeers a huge opportunity. I'm going to give you a little glimpse into my daily life and how TikTok is woven throughout my daily schedule. This morning, I was up bright and early, as you'd expect, nerves jangling, but ready to be inspired by these two gentlemen that put me through a Tabata class, a real release of my endorphins. I then think about, what am I going to wear at OMR? And on my For You page, I've been inspired by Digby Edgley. Now, Digby is a guy that effectively gives recommendations of what to wear and how to dress during seasonal periods. Let's have a look at a quick clip from Digby.
What's happening, guys? Got this lovely outfit from H&M, so let's get dressed. Feeling a smart casual look here. I think you're gonna like it. We're gonna start things off with these black wide leg trousers from H&M. What I love about these trousers is they're super affordable.
I think you get the idea. And clearly I didn't take any advice today. Next up, I'm really thinking about what I'm gonna cook. I'm really careful about what I eat. And so there is a plethora of food options, culinary delights, and step-by-step guides on TikTok that guide me through my kitchen experience. It's become an entertainment experience for me now that I'm in the kitchen. And finally, I do watch TV shows, and I love them. But my experience has changed. When I look at TikTok, I use outtakes, exclusive clips, and behind-the-scenes footage to really immerse myself and get me more connected with the show that I'm watching on Netflix, for example. And I'm not the only one. We know that there are more internet users than ever before watching video on their mobile devices. In fact, 75% of TikTok users find the content very or extremely entertaining. So this brings a really big opportunity, we think, for advertisers and brands and how they show up and entertain on the platform. Moreover, and I mentioned up front, TikTok is a place of discovery, whether that's on your For You feed or you're actively participating in the search bar on the service. In fact, in the last 30 days, half of the internet users learned something new or found information out that was relevant to them on a topic on TikTok. That's incredible. Now, that's easier said than done. Engaging with an audience in a different way to entertain. But it comes with its challenges. As consumers have got this device, they have more power. The way that they're searching, the way that they're utilizing the tools available to them means that they have more freedom. And that allows them more control. It also means that they can control how brands interact with them within their experiences, both online and on platforms such as TikTok. Brands have really got to show up. They've got to do things differently. We've got to listen to what our consumers are telling us. In fact, nearly half of young adults, that's Gen Zs and millennials, say that they're less likely to interact or buy a brand if it's disrupted their behavior within their environment. That poses a big problem for brands. But if you show up and you do it properly, you really will be rewarded. Whilst we understand the landscape is incredibly challenging, it's also a place for brands to connect in a different way. So how do we do that? You associate yourselves and you connect with the creators and the communities that exist within the platform. Now, brands don't need to associate themselves with one community. These communities are the lifeblood of everything that exists on TikTok, and that's where you start building relationships. Don't think that you need to be into one vertical. Actually, it's really important that you're into multiple communities as well. I'll give you an example. If you're a travel brand, you don't just want to be in travel talk, you also want to be associated with fitness, with books, with fashion, with food, with drink. These communities overlap each other, and they have an association with each other, which is really important for brands. Let's look at our communities in action in 2023.
I feel bonita.
Come on.
Let's make a steak sandwich.
When you know the words to the song.
I don't know what to say.
How often do you think about the Roman Empire?
This technically like every day.
I made a My Beige Flags filter.
What is a beige flag?
That's a huge wild tile right in front of me. Let me show you guys how to choose the perfect watermelon. And we're ready to serve.
Dear me.
Such creativity on our platform, such entertainment. That's a massive opportunity for brands to connect with these communities. And there are brands that have done it incredibly well. These communities, these niches, are driving mass culture. If you think about the Stanley Cup, the phenomenon of a Stanley Cup, you couldn't buy a Stanley Cup for love nor money. This poor woman's car blew up, and the only thing left standing was the Stanley Cup, which then became a phenomenon. Tube Girl has become a fashion sensation. She's been at the front of every single catwalk right across Europe at every fashion week. She's simply incredible, and she is a powerhouse now. Associating with people like this is fundamental to the success of brands. And then finally, BookTok. BookTok is a phenomenon. We've seen more books sold in any given history than since BookTok started this kind of revolution of people buying books again. In history, there were 12 million books through BookTok in Germany alone just last year. So, who's doing this properly? What are the brands that are really tapping into these communities and finding life through creators and are incredibly creative and entertaining the way they do it? I'd like to introduce on stage Nadja Cockney, who is the SVP of Global Marketing at Hugo Boss.
All right.
Hey! It's not so scary, is it, really?
Wow. So many beautiful people.
I know. We spoke a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Because I'm interested. I think this is important. I think people want to hear from you about your learnings, why TikTok, what was the adventure you went on, etc. But we spoke about your first job as a graduate and how important the mobile phone was going to be for the future of media and marketing. Could you just tell us a little bit about that? Because I think that's phenomenal.
It's so crazy. So indeed, when we were talking, thanks for asking. He was preparing me, as you can tell, I was very nervous. It's like, what shall I talk about? Oh my God, they're going to grill me. So I relayed a little story about one of the first jobs I ever had, obviously entry level. I was helping on lots of stuff, and it was an agency doing futurology, which sounded very, very exciting to me. Predicting the future. One of the little projects that we worked on was about the phone. I don't have the device with me, I've left them all backstage. But the phones that we have, the smartphones, we were predicting that. It was crazy. It was really like, right, there will be a device, you can use your phone. That was when phones were new. I'm that old. You'll be able to see what's going on. This phone, you're going to be in your taxi. It's going to tell you there's a show you're going to see. You're going to watch TV on your phone. You're going to pay with your phone. And to think that years ago, a few years ago, we were at that stage of thinking, what will the future be? And what will we be doing with technology? How will it enable us? How will it empower us? How will it entertain us? And to think now, 20 or so years later, here we are, looking and thinking about what's next and what the future will be.
I mean, it's phenomenal. We talk about the future. We all thought there'd be cars flying around. Clearly, that's not happening.
Yeah.
But the mobile phone has revolutionized the way that we interact with brands, with entertainment, with content. Let's fast forward to today. I'd like to hear a bit more about your experience. And it's been quite a journey, safe to say, for Boss on our platform in particular. Can you share your thought process and your kind of strategic positioning and the role that TikTok played within that? And I'm presuming you're introducing new audiences to Boss.
Totally.
So I think that would be lovely to hear.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, we have the phone, right? The cell phone has revolutionized everything. And TikTok, as the entertainment platform, I think is just so pivotal to delivering newness and engagement and discovery, right? And for us, being on that journey of our brand refresh, Brand Boss, about 2 years in now, we've been really working on that. And while we know a 100-year-old brand such as ours, we have a lot of legacy. We have plenty of things to show and tell when we talk about our product and everything that's in our rich heritage. But in wanting to have a brand refresh, show dynamism, show that we're relevant for a 24/7 lifestyle, show that we value and love the consumers that we have today, but indeed, we can also show new facets of our brand. Working with TikTok, working with the TikTok creators helped us to show our brand and our values in a totally different way for new audiences that we're bringing in, but equally for our legacy audiences to perhaps see the brand in a different way. And I think what's so important for us is that TikTok, for sure, I think it starts off and everyone's like, it's for the younger generation, it's only for Gen Z. But as we sit here now, 2 years on, TikTok is broadcast entertainment. And so for us, it's a pivotal part of where we have been and where we are going. So yeah, hand-in-hand partnership there.
And have you made mistakes along the way? Because it's so easy to say the good stuff that worked, and we can revel in the delight of the great work that we've seen on the platform. But did you make mistakes along the way? I think a lot of people want to hear that it wasn't as easy as you're making out, potentially.
It was flawless. No, of course we made mistakes. I think, being in a dynamic company that is really embracing innovation and newness and wanting to grow and to learn, you have to embrace the challenges and the failures and the learnings that you will have. So for sure, I think what's been amazing to be at Boss and to be part of the team at Boss, our chief exec is visionary. He's incredibly empowering. And he encouraged us really to test, to learn, to try, and to keep innovating. And I think that's the spirit and the energy that we have in our team. So for sure, we have learnings, but no learning is a waste. It's something we can take and continue on the journey. So.
And you'd say that would be the same for a small brand as well. It doesn't have to be the big Bosses of this world. Small brands should
100%.
learn.
I think, do you know what's so amazing? Small brands, you can be so much more nimble. You can pivot really easily. I think particularly when we talk about TikTok, and you can correct me if I'm wrong on that, but you can be so much more relevant and pertinent to certain creator communities if you are a smaller brand too. So I think there's lots of opportunity for small brands to work with TikTok as well.
Good. While
Yeah,
on the subject
good.
of creators,
Yes.
I'd like to tap into your collaboration with creators has been successful. It's safe to say, Carby being the first.
Yeah.
That's helped weave Boss, I suppose, into the fabric of the digital culture as we know it. Have these helped amplify your presence, not just on TikTok, but at other media as well?
Yeah, I think whether it's been Carby, Nick Kaufman, Tube Girl, we've worked with a lot of creators, and I think those partnerships are true partnerships, right? We're co-creating with them, we value their opinion, and we're trying to make sure we're delivering content and entertainment that is authentic, believable, and credible for those creators and their communities as well as us, right? So the cross point of where the two meet, their brands, their point of view, their perspective, and ours, Boss as a brand with a perception and a positioning that we want to portray. There's a really interesting intersection, and for us, that means we can create well for TikTok and create differently for other platforms. So I think that's what's important for us. And you mentioned it earlier with Tube Girl. We were the first fashion brand to work with her. We spotted something happening. We saw that momentum. I think we had a time span of about 6 hours where we decided, right, let's reach out to Sabrina. She's amazing. Let's get her over to the Milan Fashion Show and have her create with us. So we're able to move and we're able to deliver genuine content and entertainment, and that helps us to deliver something that I think audiences find believable, engaging, and credible. So, yeah.
How did you know about her? Like, how did she resonate? And how did you know she was going to resonate with the Boss audience? Were there any risks attached to that? You reaching out to Sabrina, and she's a phenomenon. She's a powerhouse.
Yeah.
She's brilliant. I mean, she's just come out. She's exploded on the platform. What are the values that you're trying to attribute? And that partnership that you discussed earlier, how important was that with Tube Girl?
So I think before we get to Tube Girl, what's really important, I'm sitting up here, but what is of pivotal importance is I'm at the front of a team, right? And we have an amazing influencer and social media team. They are on this 24/7, like 365, all day, every day. What's happening in culture? Who are the right people? Who are bubbling up? Who could we work with that would be relevant for us? And because, number one, we work on a sort of platform of trust within Hugo Boss, right? So our teams, we trust them, we trust our experts, and we empower them. So I think that's the first thing. It wasn't me that found Sabrina, it was someone in my team. And she raised that up. She was like, this is what we need to do. This is the girl. She's going to drive amazing impact for our brand at a moment that's so important for us because it was for our fashion show.
Yeah.
So that was a bit the thought process, but it's teamwork that gets us to where we are. And of course there was risk. Was she the biggest influencer at the time? No. But what could we see? We could see potential. We could see boldness, confidence, energy, personality, all these things that resonate with Boss as a brand. So we had that sort of synergy. And then we could see Sabrina's audience was extremely engaged. So it was worth us taking a punt on it. It was worth us being innovative and bold. And I think that's another word we like to use in our team. It's about fearlessness, right? So if our team is trusted and they're empowered, they can be fearless in some of the things they want to test and learn.
Bravery is quite a big word. Would you say you have to be brave to take that leap almost onto TikTok? Is that something that you were thinking about as a group, as a team? You talked about the importance of that team, but that bravery, is that important for marketers to think about when they dip into TikTok, for those that aren't on the platform?
Yeah, guys, be brave. Be brave. Nothing to lose, lots to learn, and plenty to gain. So I would definitely say, if you're not on TikTok, you really should be. It is the future of entertainment. In fact, the future is now.
Yeah, great. Thank you. That's lovely. I mean, and thank you for the prompt. Entertainment is a big... I mentioned entertainment earlier and the mobile device. Is that a big thing for for Boss to become entertaining and utilization of that almost that canvas that you've got available to you?
Yeah.
Think about the entertaining
I
factor.
think entertainment is so important today. I think people are looking to be entertained. We know that people's screen times, the amount of content people are consuming is not getting less, but they're far more discerning. So we need to be relevant is the first thing, and then we need to be entertaining. Once we know that and we show up, as you had mentioned, not disrupting people's day-to-day, but really in the sort of natural journeys where they are with authentic, credible content, we can really start to engage and we can really start to drive some momentum. So yeah,
Amazing.
Entertainment is the one.
Thank you. And finally, last 10 seconds to answer this one. The future, how do you keep this momentum up? What does the future look like for Boss? And how do you reinvent yourself almost, or not reinvent yourself, or just continue to roll within on the
It's
platform?
like constant listening, interaction and engagement. I think really, as I said, having an amazing team that's really on the pulse of culture. What's happening? What's shifting? What are the little nuances that we can pick up on that are relevant for us? It's about being open and really sort of making sure we're leaning into TikTok in this case. How is your culture changing? How are your creative communities sort of evolving and sort of broadening out? And how can we lean into that, learn, and keep to grow? That's it. So simple.
You make it sound so simple. I think the points are get on, entertain, be brave.
Be authentic and be
authentic.
credible.
Najee, thank you so much
Thank you.
for joining me on stage. Thank you to
Enjoyed
all
that.
for listening as well. It's really appreciated. Thanks so much for your time, everyone.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.